Guardian Angel, an Angelica Dale Mystery by P.K. Armstrong. Chapter 11. Angel left Ella slightly reassured. As she was walking to her car, she checked her watch and noted she was just on time. Once again, she had received another case involving a child. She might need to take a break from these cases. As a police officer, she was often warned when working with abused or missing children. One could easily get burnt out trying to save them all, but she would see what she could do for her new client. She had a phone message from the day before that resulted in a subsequent appointment at 2 p.m. with Ernestine Blythe. She jumped on the highway, exited after a quarter of a mile, and headed downtown. Ernestine Blythe had requested to meet at Sunny's Cafe. Angel pulled into the parking lot a few minutes before their agreed-upon time. She watched as a luxury car stopped in front of the cafe and a driver exited, walked around to the passenger rear door, and escorted a middle-aged woman to the front door of the restaurant. Angel exited her car, locked the door, and entered the cafe seconds later. She scanned the restaurant, and her eyes rested on the lady sitting very still with her hands clenched on the table before her. "Mrs. Blythe?" Angel stopped before her. "Yes. Miss Dale?" Angel nodded. "Call me Angel," and sat down opposite her. Mrs. Blythe was in her early to mid-50s, dressed in muted tones, no jewelry, save for a large ring on her left hand and a long necklace with an oversized peacock charm dangling from her neck. Angel noticed Mrs. Blythe's smile, faltered a bit, and motioned to the waitress. "Can I get some coffee?" Angel looked at Mrs. Blythe. "Something for you?" "Yes, coffee, please." Mrs. Blythe peeked nervously at Angel, who gave an encouraging smile. "Your message said you were looking for your granddaughter?" Mrs. Blythe tried to speak, but seemed overwhelmed with either the telling of the story or the accompanying emotion. She hesitated for so long, the efficient waitress was able to return with their coffee and all its accoutrements. After slowly mixing her coffee just so, Mrs. Blythe took a sip and placed her cup delicately on the saucer. She began, "I haven't seen my daughter Cynthia for 8 years. She left one evening and we never saw her again." "I'm sorry," Angel said quietly, and waited for her to continue. "Cynthia was your typical wild child, drinking, smoking, wild parties, skipping school. She began sneaking out of her second-floor bedroom frequently. At first her father, my husband Benjamin, would go out no matter what time of night and find her and drag her back home. But when she was almost 17, we discovered she was pregnant. Benjamin had enough and put her out of the house. We never saw her again." By the end of her telling, Mrs. Blythe had taken a tissue out of her bag and was dabbing her eyes. Angel could see her anguish. She thought a moment over Mrs. Blythe's brief accounting, and then asked, "No contact since then? How do you know you are looking for a granddaughter, not a grandson?" "I ran into a high school friend of Cynthia's almost 2 years after that. She indicated Cynthia had stayed with her for a couple of weeks until housing was available. She said Cynthia and Dee Dee were doing okay." Angel opened her notebook. "The friend's name?" "Patty Fitzgibbon." Angel wrote down the name and then paused, giving Mrs. Blythe an intent look. "May I ask why you are looking for them now?" "She's my granddaughter," she responded, slightly affronted. Angel put down her pen gently and explained just as gently. "She was your granddaughter last year, and the year before that, and the year before that. Why are you looking for them now?" Mrs. Blythe stared back at Angel with green eyes that seemed to darken the longer she stared. She shifted her gaze down into her coffee as if she would find answers in the milky liquid. She sighed heavily in defeat. "I'm afraid you may think me unfeeling, but it was my husband who turned Cynthia out into the streets. I pleaded with him for days. begged him to let her come back so we could make sure she got the care she and the baby needed, but he was stubborn and wouldn't budge. One night, after she had been gone for about a week, he had enough of my weeping, and She paused and lifted her hair away from the left side of her face, where Angel noticed a small, jagged scar about an inch long. Her eyes met Angel's briefly, and she let go of her hair, which fell back into place and covered her scar again when she looked down into her lap. Let's just say he made it clear I wasn't to ask any more, and I didn't. I'm sorry, Angel said again softly. Mrs. Blythe shrugged her shoulders slightly and continued. My husband died 3 weeks ago. We had the funeral last weekend. There is nothing stopping me from meeting my granddaughter. That's why, now. Angel stared at Mrs. Blythe until she looked up at her. I don't think you are unfeeling at all, and I will be happy to look for your granddaughter, Mrs. Blythe. Mrs. Blythe was not interested in ordering lunch, and after getting a few more particulars from her, Angel left Sonny's and headed toward Haven House on 6th Avenue. Haven House was a small non-profit that helped single mothers and homeless teenagers, some with addiction issues. On many occasions while on patrol, she had left women and minors who were ready to give birth and had nowhere to go in the care of Haven House. It was also one of Ella Sinclair's favorite charities. Haven House was staffed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year by at least 3 staff members. This made it easier for one to break away from their duties and conduct an intake. Angel pulled up and parked in the small parking lot in a space reserved for visitors. She paused, taking in the whole house for a minute. The large, white, plantation-style home was rumored to be a stop on the Underground Railroad. The estate's grounds included a long walkway paved with red brick and lined with freshly cut grass. The wooden porch wrapped around the whole front of the house and was tastefully decorated with hanging plants, large planters interspersed with small round tables, a comfortable-looking love seat, chaise lounges, and accent chairs. A slight breeze set the chimes that hung from the porch tinkling, and Angel caught a delicious whiff of the gardenias, honeysuckle, and bluebells that decorated the grounds just below the porch. It was a home, not a prison, which was evidenced by the porch currently being used by several girls, some sitting together, others alone, gazing down at their smartphones. Angel approached the entryway and noted surprisingly the large oak door was open with only a screened security door to keep visitors out. She pressed the intercom button to the right of the door and waited. The intercom crackled to life. Can I help you? My name is Angel Dale. I'm a private investigator. I am looking to speak with the administrator. Do you have an appointment? No, but I'd be willing to make one if this is not a good time. There was a brief pause, and then the voice responded. You may have to, but I will check to see if Mrs. Anderson is available. Thank you, Angel responded meekly. She looked around as she waited. The women on the porch were at various stages of pregnancy, and for the first time she noted that a couple of the girls on the porch were actually wearing uniforms. Obviously, the porch was used as an employee lounge as well. Angel heard a buzz and a click, and she pulled on the screen door, which opened into a formal entryway with the receptionist counter to one side. The receptionist on the phone motioned for her to wait a minute, but before she could end the call, Angel noticed a young woman making her way toward her down a hallway. She walked confidently, late 20s, early 30s, dressed in a simple blue flared skirt, crisp white shirt, cardigan, and simple jewelry with a scarf wrapped around her neck. Miss Dale, she extended her hand. I'm Cassie Longview. I'm the administrative assistant here at the house. I'd like to get a little more information before I disturb Mrs. Anderson. She is on a tight schedule today. Certainly. She directed Angel to 2 waiting room chairs. Angel sat and took out her notebook as Cassie took the chair across from her. Cassie had an air of confidence and grace, and clasped her hands lightly in her lap as she waited expectantly for Angel to continue. I've been hired to find a patient who resided here 12 years ago. Her mother is looking for her and her granddaughter. You were here then? Yes, but, well, as you are probably aware, we are bound by confidentiality. Yes, I understand, but I don't need specific information about Cynthia Blythe. Angel had purposely thrown out Cynthia's name to see if it got a reaction. She was pleased when she saw recognition flash over Cassie's face, which was quickly hidden with a bland look. Angel was not going to be put off, though. Is there anything unofficial you'd like to share? Cassie's face was an open book, and Angel could see her struggling with whether or not she should share what she knew. When she finally spoke, it wasn't particularly groundbreaking. I couldn't tell you anything much, but I will tell you that she was really close to Patty. Angel stopped and stared. You mean you know her friend Patty? Of course. She works here. Works here? Angel was truly surprised. Yes, you just passed her sitting on the porch. Angel thanked Cassie and made her way back out onto the front porch where she first spotted the employees. To her relief, she found the girl matching Cassie's description of Patty and approached the table slowly. As she got closer, the group stopped talking while Angel scanned the name badges. Patty, a small dark girl with an asymmetrical haircut streaked with purple and a lanyard decorated with an assortment of pins, charms, and ribbons, glanced at her with a confused look on her face. I'm Patty. Can I ask you a couple of questions about Cynthia Blythe? Angel gave Patty no chance for a response and moved over to an empty table. She watched as Patty rose slowly and made her way over to Angel and sat down. I'm not comfortable answering questions about my friends. Patty crossed her arms in front of her and looked at Angel in a defiant manner. I understand, but will you please let me explain, and then if you decide you still don't want to help me, I'll be on my way? Well, I guess. Thank you. You see, Cynthia's mom contacted me and wants to find her and her daughter. She said she spoke to you a while back? Cynthia didn't get on with her mom and dad. Yes, I know, but her brute of a father died a few weeks ago. Her mother isn't scared anymore. Now that she is no longer being bullied, she wants to find her daughter and try to make things right. She wants to meet her granddaughter. Can you understand that? I think Cynthia really missed her mom. She hated her dad, but she really regretted not being able to share her pregnancy with her mom. Patty gave herself a mental shake. Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't seen Cynthia in years. We went to school together, but she hung out with a different crowd. Later, she came to Haven House because she was pregnant, and her parents had put her out. She had nowhere to go. It was 4 days before there was a room open, so I let her stay with me. When she left Haven House, she stayed with me for about a month. Angel thought for a second. Do you know where she went after she left your place? Not really. She just said she found another girl to split a place with. Another girl with a kid. Do you remember her name? Who? Angel kept from rolling her eyes. The girl she was going to share with? She explained patiently. Oh, no, I remember asking, but she said it wasn't someone I would know. Do you know anyone else who might know? Patty thought a minute. Or she was distracted by her co-workers rising to return to their stations. No, sorry. Angel removed a card from her jacket breast pocket and slid it across the table. If you think of anything else, get in touch. Angel was making her way down the sidewalk towards visitor parking when she heard a voice. Angel! Miss Angel! Angel turned and saw Patty hurrying to catch up with her. I just remembered, Patty said breathlessly. I mean, I'm not sure if this is helpful, but I think I saw Cynthia last year. You think you saw Cynthia last year? Angel clarified. Yes, she was coming out of a coffee shop with a man. At least, I thought it was her. She was there with a little girl in a uniform with her. How far away was she? Angel was wondering if Patty was trying to be too helpful at this point and was making stuff up. It was pretty far. About there to here. She motioned about 500 feet with her hands. Like I said, I can't be sure, but something about the lady struck me as familiar. And I thought, Cynthia. But then before I could get closer, they disappeared around the corner. Anyway, that's all I know. She stood there briefly as if expecting praise. Do you remember where this coffee shop was? Yeah, it was downtown Filmore, right across from that new glass building. Angel got in her car and decided to turn for home, to regroup and think about where she would be likely to pick up Cynthia Blythe's trail. And tomorrow, first thing, she had to meet Aiden.